Hello, 7th grade Bobcats. Welcome back to another great week at the Helena Middle School. Can't wait to get going here. On this week's Bob lesson, we're going to embark on week one of a two-part series that Mr. Semensky, the one and only Mr. Semensky, and his advisor put together. I asked Mr. Semensky to come up with some stuff on being a bystander. What is a bystander? He's about to explain here in a moment, but I want to put my own little touch on this as well. So many times with disrespectful behavior, person A or group A disrespects person or group B. And a lot of times there are other people that are bystanders. They're not directly involved. If disrespect's getting spewed from this group to this group and there's a third party that's there, what role do they play and how important is that role? I'm a firm believer that bystanders really make or break culture. Bystanders really either permit and allow things to happen, or they can put an end to it. One of my favorite quotes, which I'll share here at the end, quote of the week, is, well, I'll just wait and let you see it. But when we allow these things to happen, what we allow to happen will happen. One of my favorite quotes also is, you treat people how to treat you. And bystanders can be the same way. So I'm going to let Mr. Semensky take it off here. Hope you guys like this. This will be part one of part two of being a respectful bystander at the Helena Middle School. All right, as promised, this week's Bob lesson, hosted by Mr. Semensky and his fabulous advisor, is called Being a Respectful Bystander at HMS. But first, let's be our best this week at HMS. Let's be Bob. Let's be safe. Let's be responsible. Let's be respectful bystanders, and let's be a learner.
Good afternoon, Helena Middle School. This is Mr. Semensky with the Bob lesson of the day. Now, don't get too excited. Wait a second. Yes, let's get excited and welcome, because today we are going to talk about bystanders. What they are, what they do or not do. And this lesson is brought to you by Mr. Semensky and his amazing advisor, who put together some videos to show you what bystanders do, what it looks like, and the roles we play as bystanders. First of all, here's the definition. A person who watches something go down, doesn't partake or doesn't participate to prevent the problem or to cause the problem. So a bystander is just someone who's watching. And wait a second, I think I have my first, wait a second. I think I have my first bystander, an example of a bystander. Yeah, it's just a bystander back here in the background, just watching me make the video. This is Emma. This is our first little bystander. She was just back there watching the action. Gonna say hi? Say hi. She's got a cute little coat on. Nice work. All right, Emma. Go be a bystander somewhere else, please. All right, later, gator. All right, that was our first bystander, everybody. Somebody's sitting back watching the action over there on the bed. Not participating, just watching what's going on. Good or bad. Could be either one. Let's continue with the slideshow. Here we are, and something I want you to think about during this Bob lesson is, should bystanders be held accountable for the actions they witnessed? Are bystanders innocent? Let's say you just watched somebody steal a piece of candy and you saw it. Are you part of the problem for not stepping in and doing what's right? Where does risk play in the role of a bystander? And to show this, we're going to watch a couple of videos my advisor put together. So let's give them a round of applause. Here we go. Video number one. Da, da, da. One.
No, we should. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. That's not nice. Go back to your class. Go back to your class. That's not nice. That wasn't
And thumbs up, thumbs up.
Nicely done right there. Here we have some bystanders in the background. Tori just got beat down by Anthony right there in the blue sweatshirt. Anthony trying to pick on her, being a bit of a bully. And Isaac steps in and says, no way, not in my house. This is not the way it's going to go down. And Naetha right there to pick Tori up. Bystanders, nice work. Bystanders. If I say bystanders, it's all good. Just roll with it. Bystanders. Nice job. Point. Bystanders. 1-0. Next video. Here we go.
Ooh, Snapchat. Instagram. Hey, dude, you shouldn't get on her phone. Maybe there's something private there that she wants to see. Why? Because some people don't like random strangers to get on their phone. Let me get you in a picture. No, bro. She might not like that. Okay, I'll just give her back.
Everybody?
Yay!
All right, nice job. Bystanders. Let's check this out. A little bit of instant rewind here. Nyatha taking the cell phone, starts taking pictures there with Anthony. Anthony is a bystander, just sitting back, just kind of enjoying it, getting in some pictures. What is Anthony's role legally, ethically, maybe morally? And Tori, another bystander, saying, hey, this doesn't look right, stepping in there, trying to get Nyatha to set it down, and eventually does. But I also want to point out other bystanders in the room. We got, in the back here, we got Tanner, Junior, Kanan, all saw what's going down. Kanan even flashes the peace sign occasionally. Other people back here just sitting back, knows what's happening, but chooses not to do anything. Those are bystanders. And what happens to them legally, ethically, if something happens and someone is in a lot of trouble? All right, let's keep moving forward. Da-da-da. Where's the risk? Where does it stand? Some things that came up when I was talking to students about bystanders is the Good Samaritan law. Somebody says, doesn't the Good Samaritan law say we're supposed to take action? And that's not what the Good Samaritan law does. It protects people who give reasonable assistance, at least legal if there's a medical emergency. So if somebody's lying on the ground and you know how to do CPR, the Good Samaritan law says, hey, take action, do some CPR. If they get broken ribs, it's, you know, you're legally covered there. It says nothing about not helping. But there is a law, the duty to rescue law, and this requires people to offer assistance if they know how, like requires it, but only during a medical emergency. So nothing for a stolen cell phone that you're taking a picture of in terms of law. In the state of California, Florida, Hawaii, Massachusetts, and all the way down the line, they do have a duty to rescue law, but Montana does not. So something to think about. Another one came up when I was asking students, what is the difference between a bystander and an accomplice? So let's say that a piece of candy was just taken, you were there to witness it, and a teacher walks into the room, busted, right? And the person who stole the piece of candy starts passing it backwards down the line. There's a group of people there, and everybody who touched that piece of candy trying to get it away from the original thief is an accomplice. They're trying to hide what has been done. But if you're a bystander and you don't grab that piece of candy, you are not part of the event, and you're not an accomplice. I hope that is a little bit more clear. Other things, I got another video as I was doing my research on bystanders, and maybe it's, you know, not our fault if we don't step in. Maybe it's a situation where it's unsafe for us to step in. Maybe a fight just broke out and we're watching it. And I'm not telling you to go out there and break up fights, not at all. I want you to be safe. But if you do see something like Anthony, the bully, pushing on Tori, step in there, do something right if you feel comfortable, but definitely not if you don't.
All right, we are on to this week's quote of the week, which is one of my favorites. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And the reason I feel so strongly that this ties in with being a bystander is what we condone in life, especially as bystanders. Maybe the injustice isn't towards you and it's not directed towards you when you are a bystander. But when we allow that to grow and we allow that to settle in and we allow that to become the norm, it's only a matter of time before it grows, and it does become a threat to you, and it will be directed at you someday. All right, that brings us to this week's Jellybean Question of the Week winners, who were Auden Hagman, Evie Linden, Asher Croston, Vaden Poley, and Kieran Dusko. Kieran, don't forget to put your last name. The answer to last week's Jellybean Question of the Week was February, because it has the least amount of days. This week's Jellybean Question of the Week is, a tree doubled in height each year until it reached its maximum height over the course of 10 years. How many years did it take to reach its maximum height? If you think you know the answer, submit your answer to the Bob Box no later than Friday. Tune in next week to see if you are a winner. All right, Bobcats, let's go out and make it a great week at the Helena Middle School.